Big Boy's Neighborhood. Now, I don't know if you guys have been seeing this Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. This is one of those things where even in quarantine, I've been, you know how you look forward to something, you're looking forward to something new, and that's what The Last Dance been for me, man. And I really want to bring some people into the neighborhood. We got Jeffrey Jordan, we have Marcus Jordan, and Jasmine Jordan. The Jordan family, the clan up in here. First off, man, I want to welcome y'all to the neighborhood. Thank y'all for giving us your time, man. Time is precious. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And also, could I get $1,500?
Not right now, man.
Okay, just
my pockets are set up.
yeah. You see, like the way things. No, just as family, have y'all been watching? And I'm pretty sure y'all got the entire 10 episodes. But have you guys been watching, or have y'all watched The Last Dance?
Yeah, I've actually been watching with the rest of the world. You know, I had an opportunity to get some early copies, but felt it'd be better to kind of go along and watch the reactions and you know, see it when everybody else see it. So definitely been watching and can't believe it's just gone by so fast. It's already on the last week. So
have you guys found out anything new or different? Like, Jasmine, is there anything that you learned about your dad watching The Last Dance?
You know, I think not necessarily that I learned, but we knew he was an asshole sometimes. So, like, actually seeing that come to life and how he, you know, required the best out of his teammates and seeing those practices have definitely been eye-opening. But it's been just incredible to just kind of see, like, okay, you really were a dog back in the day.
But you know what, though, Jasmine? If you're an asshole and it works, you know, because there's some people that's just assholes anyway. But if you're an asshole and it works, like, I would love to have an asshole like that in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt. Definitely. Yeah. I think they appreciated it. You know, in the moment they may not have liked it, but as they've been, like, his teammates, Pip and Steve Kerr and everybody's been saying, looking back, they know they needed it. So it's been incredible to actually see how everyone has reaped the benefit of that asshole side of our dad.
How was it growing up at that time, man? Jeffrey, paint a picture for me, Jeffrey. How was it growing up at that time when everybody wanted to be like Mike?
Yeah, it was obviously pandemonium. I mean, for us, our parents did a good job of you know, keeping us protected for the most part, making sure that we weren't you know, obviously in harm's way, but we weren't too much out there in terms of the spotlight. So but once you got out to the outside world, man, it was crazy. You know, everybody knew who he was. If we were with them, it was just, you know, flows, hundreds of people all the time, you know, surrounding us and anywhere he wanted to go. So it was crazy, man. But it was, you know, a unique but normal childhood, I like to say. You know, when it comes to how we spent our time as a family, how we spent our time at home, and when we got to the outside world, that really prepared us to handle all that pressure, all those different things coming at us at once. So,
hey, Marcus, how is it to share your dad with the entire world, though? Because it felt like there was no place in the world that y'all could go that people didn't know Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you know, for us as kids growing up, it was a little more challenging, you know, because obviously we wanted to do normal things that any other family would do as a whole family, and certain times we just couldn't do that. And but my dad did make, you know, time to make sure we went to movies or something. Maybe we would sneak in like 5 minutes later, so when everybody's in their seat and it's not as crazy, you know, and then we go sit in the back, and he, you know, would make sure that we would do things like that to make sure we had those family experiences. But I think as we've gotten older, it's really just been more so about him kind of, you know, pulling the curtain back and letting us, you know, in more so as we get older and what he's doing with his businesses and stuff like that. And so, you know, I'm just thankful for all the different moments that we had as kids, but, you know, I look forward to making new moments as we all grow older.
Is it a pressure to any one of y'all? And I know you get asked this all the time. Is there a pressure to having Jordan as a last name?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say, I mean, that's something that we obviously, you know, you can't get away from once you're born and you have a certain family legacy or name to that's kind of preceding you. You know, you definitely want to be aware of it as early as you can. Luckily for me and being the firstborn, my parents were very, very active from that standpoint in terms of making sure I was aware of who I was and what my family was doing at that time, as much as they possibly could. So yeah, I think it's something that starts very, very early on, and depending on what you do with that, how you deal with that from personal standpoint, you know, that's gonna reflect basically how you grow up and who you become. So yeah, it's always been there, but it's also for me specifically, it's also been you know, the experience that has kind of shaped me and carved me into the man I've become today.
Jasmine, how do you stay grounded though? You know, because if I had a last name like that, you wouldn't be able to tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, hey, you know, I wouldn't even be called Big Boy or Kurt Alexander. My legal name would be Michael Jordan's son. You know what I'm saying? like how do you Jazz, how do you deal with that?
I mean, a lot of credit goes back to how we were raised. Our mom and dad made sure that, look, we understood that life was definitely given to us and we're blessed and we're grateful and we're privileged. But there was not a day that went by that we weren't reminded of these blessings and knew not to take them for granted. You know, our mom made sure we got to see her upbringing from the South Side and the different areas in Chicago, and just knowing that, hey, the life that we live is very different from others. And it's something that we had to appreciate very young, and just know that with all of this comes pressure and a target and some things that you can't avoid. So instead of running from it, embrace it and know that they don't define us. You know, we can't control people's perceptions on us. And we want to make sure that no matter what journey we're on or what legacy we lead and who we become as adults and even as kids back then, it spoke to who we were. And we're not only working off of the fact that we're Michael Jordan's kids. You know, we can enter our room and say, I'm Marcus, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm Jasmine. So it definitely pays a lot back to how my mother raised us, and understanding that, hey, this life can be taken, so don't take it for granted.
How do you guys get that drive to continue and do what you do? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of comparisons with it just being the last name. Like, how do you, because even when I look at what y'all do, I'm like, man, they are extremely successful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So how is it going when there's such a big marquee? Like, when you do your thing, how do you not that it's competition, but how do you outperform, or do you create the coronavirus vaccine? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think, you know, for us, I think it was ingrained in us just early on. You know, specifically Jeff and I playing basketball, you know, there was always that target on our back, right? Of us being Jordan's kids. And so any game we played, we were always getting people's best game. People want to cross up, you know, Michael Jordan's son, dunk on Michael Jordan's son, whatever it is. And so we learned early, at an early age, that, you know, we had to hold our own and be able to do our own thing. And yeah, you know, my dad is who he is, but at the end of the day, we're going to be judged on our own laurels. And so, you know, for me, I actually took offense to, you know, being invited places or going places solely known as Michael Jordan's son, because, you know, I'm a person too, and I've got goals and aspirations as well. And so, like, you know, for example, I own a boutique now, and, you know, there was years that I was getting invitations to Fashion Week, but I had no purpose because my boutique wasn't open. So I was like, no, I'm not going to go, because I know eventually, you know, I will be there with a reason and with a purpose of being there. And so, you know, that's for me specifically, but I know that there's types of stories for Jeff and Jazz as well. That, like, you know, it's great to have my dad and be who he is, but at the same time, we are our own people, and, you know, we've got our own aspirations as well.
Hey, Marcus, what kind of boutique?
So it's a sneaker boutique. Obviously, you know, we lead through the Jordan brand. It's called Trophy Room. It's inspired by the trophy room that was in our house growing up. And so that room was centrally located within our crib. And so anytime people came over, it was like the spot to hang out, you know, and we put our Christmas tree in the trophy room. And anytime we won awards, my dad would put our trophies in there with his. And so it kind of just inspired us to want to earn our own accolades and do our own thing. And so, you know, with our boutique, obviously we lead through Jordan brand and the retros and the Nike family, but then we also just try to kind of recreate that environment that we had in the house growing up. So
my man
said
a trophy room. Trophy room. You know what I have? Let me tell you what I have. You ever heard of a junk drawer? I have a junk drawer. And in the junk drawers, like some pens, maybe some old glasses. You can find like a flathead screwdriver in there. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, man, this right here, I didn't want to show this to y'all, man, but it's crazy that you brought up because I'm going to give this to my son. This right here is called the Marconi Award. And what the Marconi Award is, man, that's like the Oscars of radio. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Jose, can you go downstairs and get the other 2 of these for me, please? I just got, you know, it's tacky. Let's not make this about me. Let's not make this about me and my Marconi Award. Let's not make it about me.
That would be in the trophy room, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't have a trophy room, but I could make me like a little trophy nightstand if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Jose, would you be so kind as to pass me my the lifetime? What is that? What is the other award that I won? Right there, the National Radio Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And if y'all want to screenshot this and send this to your dad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and I remember when I first got this one, man. I got this one, y'all, and I was like this. You know what I'm saying? I just held it like this, man. And then I remember I got a text from your dad, and he was like, "Hey, Big, you know, congratulations on finally getting into the Radio Hall of Fame. Worthy of it." You know what I'm saying? It wasn't from him, but that's what I felt. Yeah. Any knowledge of who the fuck I am. Sorry about that. All righty, well, let's get back to the interview. Okay, now, when it comes to Pops, the perfection, the drive, and everything, man, we saw that there was a certain way that he did it in basketball. What about that perfection and drive just in life, like at home? You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't be that way with his teammates and not be that way with his kids. What was that drive and that perfection like?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things. Has been one of the biggest misconceptions was that, you know, he was like that all the time, or that he couldn't turn it off.
Right.
You know, he definitely turned it off. You know, I remember days, obviously, driving us to school, making sure we get our homework done. You know, those aren't environments where, and I think he sensed this, and our mom sensed this as well, where you want to emphasize that competition or that competitiveness. You want your child to do the best that they could possibly do. And so that's what was the foundation for everything we did, whether it was basketball, school, throwing a party, whatever. It better be the best you could possibly do, because I think in his mind, and it kind of passed down to us, if you're doing your best all the time, you're going to be up there with the best. You're going to eventually reach that platform that you want to be at. So, you know, it was more so, I think, around educating what his mindset was and what his mind frame was when it came, you know, to us. But definitely as we got older, like once we hit the teens and we started hooping, yeah, we battling now. We gonna compete. We gonna compete a little bit.
I know that could be a problem.
It was an education in itself, you know. It was a way that, for me specifically, you know, definitely made sure that my skin wasn't soft, so to speak, before I entered the work world, so the real world, so to speak. So, you know, it was both, a little bit of both, I would say.
And I love that both of you gentlemen, I love that y'all balled out, because I would have smooth became like a ballerina or something Pops didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, yeah, you over here, well, guess what? I'm doing plies over here, Pops.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
I got a recital tonight. Are you coming or not? You coming to the recital or not, Dad?
Exactly.
We grew up in Chicago, so, you know, basketball in Chicago is so ingrained in the culture there, and I think it was just something that Jeff and I, we just kind of naturally gravitated.
But you know what, though, man? Do you know Malosky Plinkow from Chicago?
Malosky Plinkow.
Malosky Plinkow is a ballerina. He's he does ballet named Pulaski Pinkow. Okay, I'm just making this. I just want to. I'm just trying to show you that it's not about all basketball.
I'm on Wikipedia.
Yeah, you stumped me on that. Hey,
I was ready.
Jasmine, have you ever wore Adidas?
No,
Yeah,
absolutely
crazy.
not.
Same
The
here.
only other
Same here.
brand I've worn is Skechers, and they were in the trash the next day.
How were they in the trash? Who put them in the trash?
Oh, the man himself. My father did. They were the light up ones, and I thought I was so fly and cute, and I was showing him, and he's like, "Yeah, boo. Oh, okay."
I
The
see
next
you.
morning, they were gone. They were in the trash.
Do you know if he threw them in the trash? Did he shoot them in the trash, or did he dunk them in the trash?
You know, he probably dunked them in,
I heard
honestly,
that.
because it was just that facial reaction of, "Yeah, okay, boo, I see you." At the time, I'm like, "Oh, he really likes them." Looking back, I'm like, he thinking, "Yeah, I'm about to throw these out."
What about you, Chef Marcus? Have y'all ever wore like, you know, and even with the boutique, is it all Nike and Jordan, or have y'all ever wore another shoe?
With the boutique, I mean, we sell predominantly Nike and Jordan.
Right.
80% of it. We definitely don't carry any Adidas. I've never worn any Adidas.
I heard that.
Exactly. And so we carry other brands though. We carry some streetwear brands like Off-White and Bape and all that different stuff, but no other sports brands, that's for sure.
I'm gonna come into your boutique and I'm gonna hide an Adidas in there. And then I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna be like, "Man, Marcus, what are you doing? Expose." You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm gonna say, did you watch The Last Dance? Do you know who your dad is?
You're allowed in the store wearing Adidas. We just don't sell them.
Right. I would feel funky coming into your boutique wearing some Adidas. You know what I'm saying? I would smooth walk in. You'd be like, "Oh, sir, you need a pair of shoes to walk out in," because I'd be in my socks. I'll be like, you know what I'm saying?
we let them know. That's for sure.
Man,
Yeah,
have you guys? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I can't speak to not wearing Adidas. I did wear Adidas for half a season, I think, my freshman year.
Right.
And in high school actually, and that was the last time I can remember putting on any other brand. I think midway through the season, Pop shut that down too, and was like, "Nah, you know, if coach could let you play, you got to play in them." So,
hey, what about when it comes to like birthdays? You know, did y'all always, because I would think, and not that I'm trying to use any of you and, you know, use you as your friendship. Y'all can send me something after we finish the interview. But were people expecting Jordan or Nike gear from you guys?
Oh, yeah. That still happens to this day, you know. I think that's one of the things that as Jeff, Jasmine, and myself, we've gotten older, we've had to kind of like learn how to navigate. You know, there's always people that come around with ulterior motives. And so, you know, whether that's asking for a pair of sneakers or, you know, trying to, you know, do something or get a connection behind your back or something, you know, we've seen it all. So, you know, it's something that obviously I sell sneakers, so I've learned to kind of navigate it. It's a different thing when you hit me up for a pair of shoes, when you hit Jeff and Jazz. You know, I've got a little structure in place for that, but it's something that we definitely had to learn as we've gotten older.
Hey, Jasmine, what about, like, you know, people say, "Oh, y'all got it, you got it, you got it." Like, say for instance, there's somebody that's not doing as well, and it could be somebody in the family down the road. And they ask you like, "Oh, Jazz, you know, can I get, you know, a couple $100?" Do you ever just say, "Here, girl, take these shoes and just sell these shoes"? You know what I'm saying? Like, "Here, just take them and put."
No, absolutely not. Especially if it's family. You know, we look out for everybody.
I heard that.
You know, they know if they're reaching out to us in a bind, that's an understanding that they've exhausted all their options. Because, you know, necessarily our family models, we don't like to give money out like that. You know, just because if you come once, you're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
But our family understands, you know, we're going to keep it tight knit. We're going to keep it close. If you're really in a bind, we're going to have your back. We're going to look out for you. And we're going to, you know, do whatever you need to do. But giving out shoes to sell them, absolutely not.
Okay, I was just checking. Yeah, and I wasn't even, Jasmine, I wasn't even asking. I was asking for a friend. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand. Yeah,
size 13.
For your man.
Yeah, man. Size 13. You know what I'm saying? This is just crazy. You know. Now, when you sit and you watch when you watch The Last Dance, do it bring up a lot of those like memories where you remember like, "Oh, that's the day he came home and he felt a certain way," or that's the day when, you know what I'm saying? Do y'all look at that and be like, "Oh my God, I remember that day"? Like when he came home with Kerr's like eye imprint on his hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, did y'all see certain things in The Last Dance where you was like, "Oh, okay, I remember that day or that moment"?
Yeah, definitely the Paris stuff to start it off in the first couple of episodes. You know, I remember a couple moments where me and Marcus were trying to battle and figure out who's gonna ride on the team plane versus who's gonna go on the Concorde. You know, those type of moments. And yeah, definitely there were some behind the scenes and you know, moments that I'm kind of picking up from Last Dance. You know, for example, the 96 championship, you know, I believe we were all there, and you know, you just see certain key moments or sometimes it's pictures that you probably haven't seen before that you're seeing for the first time in the doc, that are just jogging up different memories. So there's definitely been a lot of deja vu feelings in terms of what's been presented in the doc and flashbacks for me being the oldest specifically, you know, thinking about some of those times growing up that were key moments throughout.
How mad were you when Marcus and Jasmine came into the fold?
I needed help, man.
Have y'all noticed he keeps saying, you know, we're being oldest, we're being oldest, we're being oldest.
I needed all the help I can get, man.
Divert some of that attention, huh?
Exactly. I said it all the time, man. Like a lot of stuff, a lot of learnings, you know, that comes with who we were, was definitely shared between me, Marcus, and Jasmine, but in our own kind of unique way. And it crafted, you know, who we are today. So luckily I was super lucky to have these two in the house with me growing up.
Well, big boy, my birthday is Christmas Eve 1990. So I like to say that I was the good luck that started.
I was hating on that
championship run because they didn't win until June 91.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's only one thing that changed in that scenario, you know.
until you, Marcus, until the blessing came.
You know, 1990, Christmas Eve 1990, you know. We
hey,
won't
man,
talk about it,
how bad is it having your birthday on Christmas Eve and then your birthday on Christmas Day? Did you get like the right shoe on Christmas Eve and the next on Christmas Day?
No, but what happened was you really did like wait all year round, and then I would get loaded up with gifts. And so it's a birthday I wouldn't trade for the world, but it's definitely like you go all year long waiting for, you know, the holidays.
And it's crazy because all your friends turned their age before, like that's literally like the last set of birthdays you can have.
I'm watching Jeff get his gifts, Jazz and get their gifts, and then little old me.
What are y'all doing to so-called preserve that Michael Jordan, that legacy?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things we got in the works, actually. We just started a course called Family Dynamics, and it's actually like a 10-year course. It's something that really, you know, takes all of our strengths, Jeff, Jasmine, and myself, and not just ours, but my dad, the people that are in my dad's circle that help him manage his enterprise. And it helps us kind of develop, you know, what our interests are, give us kind of basic 101 trainings on investing and wealth management and all of that different stuff. And so we've kind of started laying the groundwork. It's a 10-year process, but there are conversations around, you know, furthering the legacy and what that transfer from one generation to the next kind of looks like. And so obviously it's early, but I'm excited to just kind of start learning about it and not only learning about my dad's enterprise, but learning about, you know, my siblings, learning about myself, things that are, you know, that I, you know, might know, but to hear it on paper or to hear it through a coaching session or something like that, it really starts to ring true. And you know, I think that's different aspects of our lives that we can kind of all get better and kind of look to kind of contribute to the legacy.
Hey, Jasmine, have you ever in a tacky way used your last name or used like who you are?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was gonna say, I think, you know, it's one of those things. I don't wear a shirt that says I'm Michael Jordan's daughter, talk to me, or anything like that. Like
I would, but go ahead.
No, when I come around people or meet other celebrities or athletes or children of celebrities, it's just Jasmine. And if you know, you know, and that's great. And then if not, and you find out later on, that's on you too. You know, I just always wanted to make sure that your first impression of me or your perception of me is Jasmine first, and then everything that follows afterwards is what follows it. So.
Marcus, you were about to cut in. What were you about to say, Marcus?
So, funny story is, you know, just kind of as I've gotten older, you know, when we were kids, Jay-Z and Beyonce, you know, would come to the house, and so there was this picture I kept in my binder in middle school of me with Beyonce, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was the shit, right? And so I'm like 22, and I'm in Miami, and I think this is around the time Jay-Z is launching Duce. And so I'm in Live, and there's this Duce function. I'm on the stage. I'm 22 years old. I'm like just happy to be bumping shoulders with everybody. But at the same time, Jay-Z and Beyonce are in the venue. And, me, I'm feeling like, all right, I got to go try to say what's up. They used to come to the house. They probably don't, they're not expecting to see me. They don't know nothing about me, blah, 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 blah. And so I go and I introduce myself to them. And then kind of throughout the night, I'm just ending up hanging in the section. And so lo and behold, I'm sitting next to Miss Kelly Rowland. And again, I wanted to introduce myself. And this was like the first and one of the last times I ever introduced myself as Michael Jordan's son. And so I turned to Miss Kelly Rowland and I said, hi, Miss Kelly, I'm Marcus Jordan. I just want to say hi. It's nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And she looked at me stone cold, dead in the face. She was like, I don't care who your daddy is. You with us. You having a good time, blah, blah, blah. And so because it wasn't about, being Michael Jordan's son or who my dad was. It was about just everybody in the unit having a good time. And so I'll never forget. She probably doesn't remember it. But I definitely remember that. It was the first time.
Damn, dude, I literally just wrapped up an interview with Kelly Rowland before I got y'all on. I wish I would have had that story when I had Kelly in the neighborhood, man.
But it just goes to speak to, like, again, we had a somewhat humble upbringing. So, when you're in those situations, you don't want to come off arrogant. And I would, at that time I didn't have my boutique. And so I literally was like not trying to come off as the thirsty person in the club trying to ask for a picture. I just wanted to have a genuine conversation. And so we ended up having a great conversation. But that's funny.
Let me tell you now, I have two kids. My son is 13, named Jaden, and my daughter is named Jade. She's 11. She'll be 12 in September, right? And I think that my kids are pretty much regular, as regular as they could be. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the same life growing up that I did, but they're pretty much regular. You know what I'm saying? And there are times when I see that they're using Pops just a little bit. Now, my queen, my wife, she is amazing. But let us go to like Disneyland or let us go to somewhere where you have to get in line. Then she'd be like, baby, just go up there and see if they ready. Or just go up there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked the question, Jazz, like,
I was gonna say,
used it where it was like
I was gonna say, it's one of the tricks my mom probably taught us as well. If you're gonna go somewhere, you're not trying to, use your name. Just make sure to bring that one friend along that's gonna talk it out.
Oh yeah. You gotta have, you gotta have that person. Like, man, like you just laying in the cut. Like, yeah, that's Jordan. I'm like, oh man, I wasn't even trying to. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Like, yeah, I was. Man, why you doing that, man? Why you doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
just
okay.
Bring that one guy.
Yeah. Oh, cut this way. Okay, yeah, we'll cut that way then. We'll cut that way. Yeah. How did you guys feel when you first saw the Michael Jordan meme?
I bust out laughing.
Damn. Because, and the reason why I asked is because with all the accolades, everything that he did, and I told people, I said, man, you can't reduce this dude to a meme. And memes are funny, so on and so forth. But have y'all ever, first off, what did you feel? Like Jasmine, you said you bust out laughing. You know what I'm saying?
I did. When I first saw it, I did.
When you see the meme going, Marcus, what do you think? And also the same, Jeff, when you see the meme going.
Yeah. It's crazy. I think it's obviously crazy the time we're living in with social media and internet being what it is, Photoshop being what it is. So, I think for me, I my first reaction is definitely laugh, and understand kind of that joking nature that everybody's playing around. It's just amazing that it lasted that long, that it was so popular and that it was that type of viral moment. But yeah, just probably first laughter and then amazement and just the people, continuing to push that.
Yeah. Did it ever make any of you angry?
No, you kind of got to let that stuff just kind of, in one ear, out the other, or just kind of rub off your shoulders. I think for me, I've got a good grasp on what is funny to my dad and what's not. Right. And so there's often times where I'll try to filter whether or not it's going to make him laugh or not, and I'll send it in a text message. And so the most recent thing I did that with was, the dubs and the voiceovers of The Last Dance. If you've seen them going around on social media, they've got all these different versions. So I sent them to my dad, I sent them to the director, and they both got a great kick out of them.
Yeah, because I was going to ask if you ever used it. Me personally, I just haven't used it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I never used it now.
Yeah, I just haven't used it, man.
Not the cry one, nah.
I did see, I was at Kobe Bryant's memorial service, and I did see your father, Michael Jordan, get up and speak, and it was so heartfelt. And he even made reference to, this guy got me with another meme that's not going to disappear, paraphrasing, for like 3 years. But did you ever have a conversation with your dad, Michael Jordan, about anything about Kobe Bryant?
No, I didn't have a specific conversation. I definitely remember those times when Kobe would call the house or call his cell phone, and it just bring a smile to his face immediately, because I think that's just the connection that they had as human beings, as the greatest of their craft. They were just connecting on a different level than they probably could connect with most people on. So that was always a joy to see, and it definitely obviously hit home when he passed. And my condolences to his family and everybody that was on the flight. But I think it was it's just gotten stronger. That feeling of friendship that they had and love that they had is very much stronger for me now, seeing it and watching everything evolve and getting some more details on the actual Jordan legacy story, that they were just, they had that strong bond. They were strong friends.
What did you learn from that? Is there more of an appreciation as well when something happened, and then you start to appreciate even more so what you have?
Yeah, it was definitely, and one of the things that my dad actually taught me growing up, taught all of us growing up, was, enjoying life. It's very, very short, enjoying what you do. I think that for me definitely drove that point home, that, you blink and tomorrow your life could be over. So enjoying whatever you're doing and really living in the present moment is what I got out of the unfortunate passing of Kobe.
Beautiful. Hey, Jasmine, let me ask you this, hon. Before we got on doing this interview, had you ever heard of me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just checking. You know what I'm saying?
We know who you are, big boy.
No, you know how you just don't know, because I didn't know if I popped on the screen. She was like, "Oh, I thought I was getting interviewed by Outkast." She was like, "Oh,
Oh my God."
She was like, "Oh, so y'all do know my work. That's crazy as hell."
No, absolutely.
Y'all do know.
We were that golden age of like the 90s, pre-cell phones, pre-internet, to like it all kind of come to fruition. Nowadays, it's different.
Yeah, man. No. Thank you so much, man. No, I really, I'm tripping. I'm still holding my Hall of Fame award. Could you put that next to the others? Put that next to the others. You know what I'm saying? Put that in the trophy closet. Put that in the trophy closet. I'm working on the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm towards the end of my career. I don't think I'm gonna get any more of these awards. I know it sounds braggadocious, but just let me have these moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's celebrating me, so let me celebrate myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do this thing called the first dance. Nobody's paying attention to my fucking story. You know what I'm saying? So just give me the first dance. But let me tell you, man, Marcus, Jeffrey, Jasmine, it was really a pleasure to have y'all in, man. I wish that we were out of this quarantine so we could have been in the same room.
Next time, yeah.
Thank you for the energy. Thank you so much for the energy, man. And I know y'all probably got interviews after this. They're not going to be as good, but don't hold the interviewer. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's a fact.
And don't compare them to how we just bonded. You know, let our moment be our moment, and then the other.
No, we family. You big boy Jordan.
Remember?
You special.
Okay,
you special.
remember you said that.
We got another shoot.
Remember you said that. Hey, man,
I'll bring it to you in the studio.
Hey, hold on for a hot second, Jazz. Hold on. Wait. Okay. Hold on.
You're about to record me.
No, I'm recording you. Hello? Yeah. How you doing? It's Kurt, Big Boy, Alexander Jordan. Yeah. You know that card that I had looked at that I was like, oh, it's too expensive? Can you send that over to me?
Put that on her invoice.
The white on white.
Yeah.
What?
Alrighty.
Oh, my
Jasmine Jordan's going to call with the financial information.
JJ.
My connection.
There you go.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hold on.
Connection's starting to go out.
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, man, we're going to get it. Thank Jasmine. I'm going to tell you straight up, Jazz. Just like how you know that you're your dad's favorite, you're my favorite too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yeah, you know, you're my favorite too. You know, hey Marcus,
Hit her up for the sneakers.
Marcus.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, man, I know you got your boutique and everything, and you know, and I
Yes,
see you
sir.
wearing your Jordan apparel now. You have always been my favorite Jordan child, so I just want to share that with you. You know what I'm saying? And you
appreciate that.
continue to be
Yes.
that shining star that you are. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And
Yes,
Jeffrey,
They got everything you need, big boy. They got
what
everything
more can
you
I
need.
say? What more can I say? Size 13. Size 13. Jeffrey, man, you, my brother, you the star. You are the shit.
Appreciate
You're
it.
the
big
best,
boy.
man. You're the
Appreciate
best.
it.
Absolutely.
For real, for real. So hopefully that penetrated one of y'all souls. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Man,
Thank you so much.
Jordan
man.
clan,
Appreciate it.
Jordan family, thank you so much for giving me your time, man. Time is very precious, and I thank you for your time. Brother Marcus, I appreciate you. Brother Jeffrey, I appreciate you. Sister Jasmine, I appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you.
And once
Thank
again,
you.
The
Stay
Last
safe.
Dance, y'all got to check it out, man. And
Check it out.
I thank y'all for your time, man. And y'all stay safe as well, man. And God willing,
Absolutely.
chance to see each other at Live or something like that. And I'll walk up to you and be like, hey, it's me, Big Boy. You know what I'm saying?
Do it.
Jordan
Absolutely.
family in the neighborhood,
Thanks for
ladies
having
and gentlemen. Thank you, man. That's
Appreciate
my
you.
brothers and sisters right there because I'm now in Jordan, Big Boy's neighborhood.